You know what one of the toughest things I've ever had to do is? That was quit my job because of Parkinson's. To admit to myself I couldn't do it anymore. So for today's video, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the background of my work and how I ended up having to leave that job. My job was in a grocery warehouse. I shipped out meat and produce and things like that. I'd worked there for, by the time I quit, almost 20 years. I think it was 20 years. I think it was like 2 or 3 months short of 20 years. And for years before my diagnosis, as I've shared in other videos, people started calling me lazy, slow-mo, very unmotivated. What's your problem? It was a very fast-paced environment. And to be completely honest with you, I was having a lot of trouble keeping up. 4 years before my diagnosis. And I just kind of, I don't know, just kind of let the lazy thing kind of roll off my back. What are you going to do? I'm just doing what I could do. But I found that I was exhausted more than I should have been. Fast forward a few years in 2013, January, where I got diagnosed with PD, and suddenly the light bulb went off my head. Well, no wonder I've been having so much trouble, and it's just struggling so bad. I've been running a few brain cells short, or a lot of brain cells short of the dopamine producers, which you need to move and keep you in a good mood, which I was in a black mood most of the time at those last few years. So I got diagnosed, and I was actually kind of relieved to know. So I went to my boss, and I told all my bosses, I've got Parkinson's. They're giving me some medicine. I want to come back to work, see if I can do it. Well, I was pretty surprised and excited. I mean, I took these pills, these Cinemet or levodopa, carbidopa, levodopa pills, and I felt 15 years younger. I was zipping around, driving my equipment, throwing cases, loading up trucks, putting things away in the racks. Like, I can't even remember how what it was like to feel that way. But after about 8 months to a year, I started to notice this weird hitch in my step. It was kind of a leg drag, kind of a limp. And I thought, this isn't good. And I thought maybe, this is where my mind went. I thought maybe my medicine was, maybe it was a bad batch, or maybe it expired or something. I did stretches, I did running, I did yoga, and no matter what I did, when I would look at my leg and I would say, step forward, it would step out and then come around. It was really weird. This led to a lot of pain and discomfort up my leg and into my hips. And people started asking me, what's wrong with your leg? And I was like, I didn't really know, and I didn't really want to talk about it. So it's fine, I just twisted it. And I started to become really paranoid about people asking me about it. Well, this can only go on so long. My leg just got worse and worse and worse. I would limp into work and limp out. I would wait till the entire shift was gone before I would leave the locker room upstairs, because I didn't want people to see me struggling out of the break room, and it was a long walk back to the parking lot. Thing is, you would say, how could you hide it so long? Well, I was riding equipment a lot. So I'm standing in one place or hopping up and down real quickly. I'm able to disguise it or hide the struggles I'm having. But I would say after about a year and a half after I was diagnosed, it became excruciating. And I didn't want anybody to know how much pain I was in, how much struggle I was. I would literally come home and just curl up in a ball and not be able to move for the rest of the day, for the rest of the evening. And I remember my wife came to me and she said, how long are you going to do this? She was worried about me, obviously. I was worried about me. And I said, I don't know. What are my options? Quit? Lose my health insurance? I just got to keep doing it until I can't do it anymore. And one of the weird things was, first of all, my doctor, when I got diagnosed and I told her the pills were working, she said, it'll work and you'll be able to go back to work for a little while. Kind of put that in the back of my mind. I thought, well, if the pills work now, why won't they work later? Well, we all know how that happens. And then one of my bosses, whose dad had PD, said, kind of roundabout, maybe you should start looking for another line of work here eventually. But at that point, I was around 40 years old. I have no education. I've just graduated high school, got a GED. No college, no skills. And who wants to hire a damn 40-year-old person with Parkinson's? And even if you don't tell them, eventually they're going to figure out something's wrong. So I felt like I was up shit's creek with a turd for a paddle, if you don't mind the expression. And I couldn't bring myself to have to quit. Like I said, I became more and more isolated. I didn't want to talk to people. People even started coming up to me. Well, you used to always joke around, have a good time. You're awful quiet. What's going on? I'd be like, I'm just busy. It was taking everything I had to keep up, to throw the cases, to drive the forklifts. I had no energy left for talking. Those of you with PD know what I'm talking about. I had no energy left for joking. I had no energy left for socializing. And I finally had to kind of come to terms with the fact that I can't do this anymore. I've got nothing left for my family. I barely am getting through the day, just hiding my pain. And sometimes the pills would wear off and then I'd have to take a pill and kind of go hide until it kicked in enough. Not fun, not pleasant, and no way to live. And I remember the moment where I realized I'm done. I can't do it. I'd worked about 5 or 6 hours that day. It was a short day. If you worked fast and you got your work done, you could go home. So I ran like a maniac in 5 or 6 hours, got home, took a nap because I would have to pick up my son from daycare around 2 or 3 or whatever. So I remember taking a nap, getting up, and my legs wouldn't work. I mean, they worked. I mean, I could move them, but I couldn't hold myself up. I literally could not stand up on my own 2 feet because the pain in my hips and legs was so bad. And that's when my wife got home, I said, can't do it anymore. And she's like, well, you know what to do. So I had to go get a note from my doctor. I told him what was going on, just incredible pain. I could barely stand up. It was so bad. And I remember the last time I walked in that building with that sheet of paper that says, Jeremy McDonald can no longer perform his duties. I handed it to the boss, and he kind of looked at it, and I said something like, I'll be in touch. And this happened occasionally because people would get hurt. And they assumed I was coming back because they had no idea how badly I was hurting, how badly I was suffering, how I was staggering into home when I would get home from work. And the walk out from the office to the parking lot was one of the longest, most shameful, I shouldn't have been ashamed, but that's how I felt, shameful walks I've ever had in my whole life. To climb back into my car like a little weakling and drive back home and realize I couldn't do it anymore. And strange as it seems, telling my boss that I had PD and that I could still do the job didn't bother me, but telling them, the whole company, that I couldn't do the job anymore, and that with pills or no pills, was really, really embarrassing and humiliating. And I disappeared for a while. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was just ashamed. And there's a lot of shame that comes with Parkinson's, especially, I mean, I don't want to single out just the guys, because ladies have their own struggles, obviously, but as a working man who makes your living with your muscles in your back and your physicality, to not be able to do the one thing that you've done for your whole life, it's humiliating, man. Humiliating. Fortunately, my wife understood. She was like, you need to be here for your family. She's like, I'm afraid you're going to get hurt. You can't keep staggering in and out of there. Maybe you're going to lose control of your forklift one day. You're going to hit something. It's going to be a mess. So I just wanted to, it's kind of like, it's not a real fun topic, but I don't always have yucks. I try to make things light, but a video I've been meaning to make for a while. Man, it still hurts thinking about it, because as hard as the job was physically, I enjoyed the people I worked with for the most part. I enjoyed laughing and joking and having a good time while we were driving up and down the aisles doing our job, working as a team, getting things done together. And to not be able to do that anymore was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. So if you like this video, over here there's going to be a button where you can subscribe, and over here there's going to be a recommended video. And I tell you what, if you could give it a thumbs up if you like it, hey, 2 thumbs up, it'd be awesome. Till next time, peace and love from St. Louis.